Okay, the channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Woohoo!
Woo! Dice and perils, not in mark.
Shapers and paychecks.
Diapers and paychecks? That sounds
Papers.
terrible. Oh,
Papers and paychecks.
okay, that's a bit better.
I just realized on our layout that we're in the wrong places, so I'm going to move everyone really quick while I introduce everyone. I'm Christiana Ellis. I'm the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight: Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn,
Good evening.
Jenny Meltzer as Zaleen,
Hello.
Starla Hodgson as Carolina Swift,
Hello, friends.
and Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry, or is it Vertigo?
Things are complicated.
Complicated indeed. When last we left our heroes, they had returned to the capital city of Pashan, only to discover that a number of big important things had happened, including the assassination of the emperor, which also coincided with the theft of an amulet that you needed, that he was apparently wearing. That amulet stolen by an old adversary of yours who has basically said, you want it, come and get it, at the Temple of Marushka. And so in the meantime, though, Empress Solomonia, the goddess of lawful good, more or less, has decided to make a big move and created a whole bunch of new clerics and paladins there in Pashan. But you have all decided that your mission to rescue the innocents trapped within the sealed away city of Dinuther is the most important thing to be doing right now. You had last been seen having a discussion about how to handle the adversary, also known as Percival Cankers, who seems to have this amulet you need, but also bad guy. Can you trust him? Can you work with him? Hard to say. But the pocket protectors have decided for now to put a pin in that discussion and make their way to Amersham, where you can perhaps decide on the way or figure something out. But you had planned to take the lightning rail, and so let's imagine that this is the next morning, so you would have all had a long rest. I know that there was a plan to leave somewhat discreetly. Are you disguised or anything? Like, are you just kind of, trying to go for subtle, or are you literally trying to actually sneak out in some way, magically?
I think we're just walking out casually, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep.
Sure. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Just finding out if that was the case or not. So you have all been to the train station before a couple of times. Sometimes it was not to catch a train, but in this case, it's all pretty straightforward. There are regular runs to Emersham, and it is not a long trip. You'll get there today, and you buy tickets for one of the passenger cars and make your way through. There's a lot of activity. Things had been kind of hushed and strained, and since the Empress Solomonia's miracle, there is a shift in the vibe of the city, because there's an awful lot of people in the city that are worshippers of Solomonia and think this is great and feel much better and reassured at this demonstration of the goddess's power in the city and this newfound promise of protection. There are a lot of other people that are not so sure about that, but it seems like relatively positive, and it's all a little unclear. But in any case, business still must go on for many people, and so there's a busy day here at the train station, but you are able to buy your tickets without difficulty. You make your way to a partially filled passenger car. There are only 4 other passengers in your train car, and the train pulls out of the station.
I'm going to start giving Zinhorn a lecture about not harassing the other passengers on the train. We don't want a recurrence of last time. Just because Baldu's not here. You're muted.
We still don't hear you, Paul.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. My stupid toy stopped functioning, so I'm pushing the button and talking, and nothing's happening. Look, it all worked out fine. We're all still alive. You know.
Yeah, but let's just not do that again.
Yeah, why is it me? Why? Why? Really? I mean, like, you start fights.
It was you and Baldu. I'm just saying, Baldu had a way of being sort of a bad influence on you, and you just followed him. So just, I just don't recommend harassing unknown passengers on the train.
Look, she started it. She did. She was exceptionally rude. She dismissed me as an entire sapient being. She just needed someone to look down on.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you have to react. You're supposed to be a representative of Lasham. Out there in the world, spreading.
Ooh, she's cleric shaming you.
So
what
while
would your
that-
god think?
Yeah. So while all of that back and forth is going on, I'm gonna lean over to Nedry / Vertigos, or whatever he's calling himself today. Sorry. Now I have to get serious because that was funny. Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Why didn't you tell us right away when he reached out to you?
It was difficult. Do you know what he can do?
Only from what you guys have told me, mostly.
Exactly. Time after time, he's displayed power that was well beyond what I expected. So I was afraid. If he thought that I was deceiving him, or trying to prepare a trap or anything like that, I thought he might find out. So I tried to lock all those thoughts down. Took some of them out. Didn't work as well as it used to. And then I needed to figure out exactly how I could do this. How we could get to him. But I had to talk to him again. I entered into his dreams. It's something I've been working on for a while. I wasn't exactly sure how well it would work, or whether I would just be an observer, but I was able to talk to him. It was very strange. I was trying to learn more about him, observing his dreams too, but once he was aware that I was there, I couldn't learn anything more, really. But he's expecting all of us. He didn't seem to care that you knew. Maybe I overinterpreted. Maybe he was really didn't want the Emperor's people to know, because if they knew he had the amulet, and the amulet was associated with the Emperor, and the Emperor just died, well, they would turn over the entire hillside, destroy the entire temple if they needed to get to him. So that information was kind of dangerous. But I couldn't do this alone. Even if I'm determined to try, I know that it wouldn't succeed. I just don't know if I can not try.
Well, I'm glad you at least have come around to us being kind of a package deal.
I don't want to put any of you in danger
Well,
or
I know
risk
that.
others.
None of us want to do that, but I think the hesitancy here is all the stuff with the circlet before. And we've had this conversation about trust and how it's important. And I think, well, I don't want to speak for everybody else, but for me at least, finding out that you kept something like that from us, even if it was just for a little while, is it kind of shakes your faith a little bit, if that makes sense.
I guess so. I didn't know what to do. So I did what I always do. I tried to work through the problem. I was going to write it down, but then I realized that's just the same as letting all the secrets go. So I had to keep it all in my head. And when I wanted to talk to all of you, well, there was the reunion between Hilbert and Curity, and I waited as long as I could. And then that whole thing with Solomonia was another problem and another distraction, a curiosity. Do I pay attention to it? I'm always filled with questions. You know that. I want to know everything. And is this a way to not pay attention to it? But he's dangerous, and if I don't get back to him, I'm afraid what he would do. If he's at the temple, that means that Tillotha might be in danger, or he might disrupt what's there in an effort to try to do what he's going to do anyway. So I put up all the defenses when we talked.
I understand all of that, which is why I'm not like furious mad and like storming off and stuff. But if I've learned anything since we've all been together, is that problems are maybe not necessarily easier to solve, but they feel lighter when we all work together.
I'm really glad you didn't make a size joke. I'm kind of used to those, but still, it would have felt a little bit rude.
This is like, there's just this light bulb moment where she just like, oh, I get it. Okay. Was not tracking, but
I'm just trying to make a little light. Sometimes it feels like, I don't know, like there's a lot of pressure. I've always been the one who's had to know everything. Not just for myself. When my parents found out that I liked magic, that I was finally good at something, well, I had to go away and study. There was no other choice. So I did. And I worked under Master Finster for a few years, but I couldn't learn enough from him. And I joined all of you. I've learned so much since then, but still. There's so much that's confusing about all of this, and now to discover there's an entire different kind of magic that's only hinted at, that some academics have tried to explain or control or even just even understand, but don't. But here I am in the middle of it all. And if I don't try to understand it, if I can't come up with a theory for it, if I can't solve these problems, oh, there's a lot of pressure.
well, that's the thing. It's not an I situation. It's we, all of us. And I think, I mean, just in the last few weeks, what we've done together is pretty freaking amazing. So, if nothing else, I hope that gives you a little bit of confidence that maybe it's not so much pressure if it's distributed evenly. Because it's on all of us. It's not just you. So, please, share the burden. It's what we're here for.
I'd like to think that during this very serious conversation that Zinhorn and Zaleen have gotten into a battle of the clerics, like a Scooby-Doo style battle, where he's
we
like
have-
shooting light cantrips at me and I'm like shooting darkness spells at him.
Do we have the two spiritual weapons kind of clashing midair?
Yes.
Meanwhile, like the other passengers in the car are doing their best to, like they're reading their book very studiously, and I'm looking out the window. I'm not paying attention to this. I think as this conversation is going on, there is a point where all of you suddenly feel a shudder go through the train car, and everyone make a dexterity saving throw. So we got
17. It
15,
wasn't. It's not my
17.
fault. I was right here.
10. All right.
10 for me.
Yeah. Well, that's enough. So, what did you get, Vertigo?
15. for me.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I guess I'm missing Zaleen's.
6.
Okay. Zaleen, you are jolted out of your seat and you fall on your butt on the floor. Everyone else manages to keep their seat. The halfling passenger also in the train car is with you in the aisle, having also gotten briefly bumped out of her seat. Everyone else is kind of like looking around because certainly that sort of a jolt is atypical on Lightning Rail, but everyone's kind of looking a little concerned, and you hear a voice come from a little speaker at the front of the car where they have a magical, little intercom there where you hear the voice say, "Passengers, please remain in your seats. There is a brief phase of bumpiness that should resolve itself quickly, but please remain in your seats."
I didn't think these things were supposed to have any bumps.
They're not.
Technically speaking, it doesn't even actually physically touch the track. It's magically sort of like magnet sort of thing.
It's the bullet train. I'm gonna try to get up and get back in my seat.
Well, that you were asked to get in your seats, even so.
Yeah.
No
I'm
one's going to
trying.
stop you. Yeah. Oh, easily done. There was the one sort of shudder, and then everything else is like it's back to the way it was.
Can we look out the windows and see if we see anything?
Yeah, absolutely. You see, basically, you're in sort of a grassland, very lightly forested area. You can see, like hills. It's a sunny day with some big white puffy clouds here and there in the sky. Trees flowing by. In fact, I'm going to put us on a map.
Definitely gonna have to look at this with my with my magic eyes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you just are, you obviously the map is static, but you are seeing the landscape pass by as you would expect. So, you look out the windows and, I mean, everyone make a perception check, I guess.
All right.
All right. 11, 21, 14. These are pretty good.
Rolling really low tonight for some reason. It's annoying.
And an 18. So that's a 21 is the highest. Yeah. So, Zaleen, everything looks right for the most part. Like it's like, if anything, the only thing that seems maybe a little bit strange is that, like, given the timetable for when you bought your ticket and how long you've been on the train, you kind of would have thought you'd be farther along by now. Like, you know the landscape, between Pashan and Emersham, and you just like this part of the country sort of it seems like you're not as far in the journey as you would have thought.
Huh. That's weird.
Oh no.
Do I see anything with my true sight?
What's the range of your true sight?
It's only 30 feet, so
So where are you looking? You're just trying to look out the window just broadly, or?
yeah, just kind of like along the side of the train, like
Mm-hmm.
try to see whatever I can of the tracks, like look up maybe if there's something there or down,
Mhm.
just kind of.
Yeah, make a perception check, another perception check with advantage when you're sort of focusing with the true sight.
Is that? Here's the thingy that, whatever, I'll just roll it twice. Ooh, I got a natural 20, which
Wow,
adds up to
okay.
30.
Nice.
There you go. I mean, that'll do it. So just for the record, it's the four of you and four other passengers here on the car. You've got a lady elf, a male human, a female dragonborn, and a female halfling that are also on the train car with you. And everyone has, got the little bit of expression of concern after that shudder. But as you are looking with your true sight, and you get, you're just really looking carefully, you realize that it's not an illusion. But with the benefit of true sight and some very sharp eyes generally, you realize that what you are seeing in this landscape is somehow flat and wrong. So like you look down at the ground and you realize that sort of the texture that you're seeing is actually somehow almost like it's being projected on a flat surface. And then when you kind of look up, you can see a spot where you never would have spotted it otherwise because it's very subtle. But as you're realizing that the ground looks strangely flat, you can see a spot where it looks almost like a corner, where it becomes another flat wall, like there's a right angle. And it's not a traditional illusion, but it is also not what it appears to be.
Okay, super weird. So, since I believe I'm sitting across from Nedry, I will kind of lean close and relay all that to him.
What do you mean? That there's something not real?
Yes, but no. It's very. It's hard to describe. It's.
I think. Oh, where's my spell? Do I have that? Please tell me I have at least the basic. There we go. He'll cast Detect Magic. Oh
Okay.
shit, he can only do as a ritual. I think I knew there was a problem with that. Yeah. Well, he'll start casting it anyway.
Okay.
I can actually use that. It's part of the if you don't want to do it as a ritual, I have it. It's part of the one thing we didn't cover, because I had handed off the Vidunme deck to Sorashana and
Mhm.
Sequential. I assume that I took it back before we left.
Oh, the deck. Well,
Yeah.
so if you want to have, you can. Certainly, I think when you
Yeah,
ask for
I
it
did
back, they'll
warn her
say,
in
like,
advance.
yeah, it's like I thought that the whole point was you were giving it to us so that we could study it. We haven't really made any progress in the couple of hours since you gave it to us, but all right. Yeah.
Oh, because I thought it was like the next day.
Well,
But,
yeah,
okay.
but I mean, at the same time,
Yeah,
it's,
no,
yeah.
I get it. I get
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
I gotta sleep sometime.
Yeah. remind me with your true sight, um, you have to like concentrate on it, right? Or do you just sort of like activate it and it's active for a certain amount of time? I don't remember exactly how.
Well, I feel like how we've treated it is that I have to like actively like say, "Hey, I want to use this."
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I just walk around with it all the time.
Right. So I sort of feel like it's almost like it's not on unless you're like squinting right, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like you sort of like have to concentrate. Like not literally like with mechanically like a spell, but I'm just saying like unless you are doing it on purpose, it's not on. And unless you want to like I just want to make sure how we're treating it is consistent. Because I don't want there to be some time later where it's like, I would have seen that because I was, I had it up even though we didn't say that you did. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you have, so I think
Yeah, I've tried to be very specific
no, I
and
appreciate
intentional
that.
with
Yeah.
it.
And so I think we are agreed then that the way we want to do it is that you will only see something with it if you tell me you are looking at something with it. Okay.
Yeah.
After
that's fair.
after she describes what she's seeing,
Mm-hmm.
can you make it out? Like if like with my perception being like 21 or whatever.
It's pretty
is-
good. So here's what happens is that I think everyone else is trying to look for it themselves, and you're having trouble because you keep like there'll be a moment where it'll seem like maybe that does look a little weird, but I don't know, I can't be sure because she did after all with true seeing get a natural 20. It's so like whatever this is happening, it is extremely subtle. But the thing that does happen when you're all watching very carefully is there is a moment where because you're watching carefully, you notice kind of a strange little like almost like the tiniest little flicker. And because you're paying attention now and because Zaleen specifically noted this earlier, you realize, wait a minute. We were past that mountain on the horizon, but now it's closer again. And you realize that either the train has suddenly teleported backwards on the track, or you're seeing a loop of projected background here.
I feel like
Can't really see it myself, but I believe you. I need to really see it myself if possible. Do you mind if I see it through your eyes?
okay. You're not actually gonna like take my eyes, right?
No, just your mind. I mean, I'm not going to take it. I just need to see it. Not your mind. I need to see what you're seeing.
Okay.
Trust me. And he'll cast Detect Thoughts on her
Okay.
to see her impression of what she sees of the world.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I feel like with a voluntary cooperation, I think that'll work. I'm not sure that would work on an unwilling subject. Because it's one thing for her to say, here is my thought pattern of describing what I'm seeing, which is different than you seeing it, right? But I think with cooperation, I'll allow that could work.
So if he can perceive this magical illusion which is covering over the land, he will reach out with his hand, kind of one eye open so they can see what he's doing, and one eye kind of mental, and cast Dispel Magic at 5th level.
Okay. It doesn't appear to have any effect. And
Does it feel
I
like it
get but
resisted,
before you
or-
well see
Okay.
here's the thing that I told her with her sight though, is that it is not an illusion as you understand them.
Okay.
So
But it's not a magical effect either then.
well,
It's almost like we're in a box.
yeah. So that's kind of what I was going to say is that, I'm not telling you to not do the spell, but what I'm saying is that in this instance, it does not seem like your spell can't find an effect to crystallize around, so to speak.
This is very strange.
Does
That
it
should have.
feel like we're in the little machine thing that helped us talk to Talitha? Like
Uh,
we're 2D?
uh, well, I mean, I think that is a reasonable thing to wonder about. I don't think it feels enough like that it's familiar per se.
Mhm.
I think though that as you're discussing this, the elf who is on the car with you just says, pardon me, that seemed like something rather strange is going on. I mean, I felt the shudder, but you all seem more concerned. Is there something happening? And you all
Well, we're
realize
trying to.
you have the attention of everyone now.
Well, it's kind of what we're trying to figure out. Like, this is not.
Yeah.
There's something weird happening, and I don't know what. We're trying to figure it out.
Yep. I'm going to get up and walk to the next car,
Okay. Are you going towards the front or
To the
towards the
top.
back?
toward the top of the map.
Okay. So you make your way up to the and as you're approaching the door, that the speaker turns on again and says, "Passengers, please return to your seats."
I keep going.
Okay. So you go to open the door,
Yep.
and as you are, you feel like a burst of wind coming over you when you open the door, and it's not like a torrent of wind because there's the other car, right? Like, so there's a pressure differential is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I will say that the air smells a little staler than you would expect for what is supposed to be outside, right?
Mhm.
But you go ahead and you find that there is apparently a mechanism on the doors that you cannot open the next one without closing the one you just came through. So you can
Okay.
stand out in between, but you have to close the one you just came through before you can open the next one.
Okay. I'm going to do that.
Okay, you do that, and everyone, you have just watched Zinhorn leave the car. And Zinhorn, as you open the door to the next car, you find yourself emerging into a new car, except that it is now the one that you had just left, and you have just emerged from the back of the car that you were just on.
Okay. So I come in at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I thought was going to happen.
This is
The,
like
the halfling who's right there is like, that's what you thought was going to happen.
Yes. There's something wrong. There's something weird going on. It's like we're in a box.
Zaylene, do you remember that it was after we left Gorn and there was that tree that we kept going by with the little fairy guys, pixies?
Yes,
This feels
do
very much
remember
like
that.
that a little bit.
it does.
Zinhorn, try walking backwards out of the car. It worked last
I'm going to
time.
try walking backwards out of
Okay.
the car, and
All right.
I'm just going to keep looking forward and
All right.
like feel behind me.
Okay. So, I mean, you are able to be standing on the sort of the junction between the cars. The door at your back will not open unless you close the one that you just came through first.
I do that.
Mm-hmm. And everyone watches as the door at the front of the car opens, and you see Zinhorn looking away from you, backing into the car.
Well, that didn't work.
It's worth a shot.
I mean, it worked last time.
Okay.
I think the man that's right there by you, Zinhorn, just says, is like, is this going to make us late for Emersham?
Oh, probably.
Oh, that's not all right. I mean, I'll write a letter to complain. He starts sulking in his seat.
Can we open the windows?
I think that the windows are normally designed to open. But you find that they seem to be stuck when you attempt in the way you would normally open a window. So I'm not ruling out that you might try something more aggressive, but when you attempt to open them in the normal way, they seem stuck.
Okay. Well, then I guess the only way I go about this is to go out one of the doors. So my intent here is that I want to try to get to the top of the car
Okay.
to see if there's a top to this box.
Mm-hmm.
And if so, what is it?
Sure.
Does anybody want to help me? I'm gonna go up top, and it's always good to have an extra set of
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay. I didn't.
You always go with her. Let me go with her this
Yes,
time.
because I love her.
Yeah,
You can go. You can go. If
All
you
right.
really want to.
I
Even though
do.
I think it would be better if it was me.
It's a meat shield. It's okay. I love you too.
So I didn't prep the roof tile for the map, but we can certainly assume, theater of the mind style that. So what you find is that as you, do you go out the front or the back?
Probably the back, because what I'm picturing is that, like, on train cars, there's like a ladder
Mhm.
on the backside that
Yeah.
goes up. So that's probably where I would head.
Mm-hmm. So in this case, there's not like just a regular ladder, because this is not something they generally want to encourage
Right.
passengers to do.
Right.
But you can see that there are little indentations where,
handholds and whatnot.
yeah. So basically, it's possible to, to make the climb, but it's intended to kind of discourage the casual.
Are there windows out the back that we can see as they step outside?
No, the door has a window technically, but it's like frosted glass, so you can't really see through it.
Mm.
So you can hold the back door open, but you cannot open the door to the next car while it's open.
That's okay. I don't want to go to the next
Yeah.
car. I mean, not that it would
Well,
do any
sure.
good. but...
I'm just saying.
I think that Vertigo will go and stand in that door because he does
Okay.
not want to let them out of his sight in case something bad goes
Yeah.
down.
So, you go out and you're feeling sort of the air moving, but the thing that you notice when you start climbing up to get onto the roof of the car is that you do not feel the wind the way you would expect. Like, air is moving in this space, but it's not moving like in the direction it should be, at the speed it should be. It does not match the apparent speed of the train.
And keep going.
Yeah. And so
Put
as
my head up.
Yeah. So as you poke your head up, and like you don't like bump your head on a ceiling or anything. But as you climb up to the top of the train, you're able to stand comfortably, because it's not like there's no powerful wind blowing, even though the landscape would seem to be rushing past you at quite a speed. And so I think as you kind of look around, because of your previous success in spotting the sort of corners, you do see that there would apparently be another one higher up, indicating a ceiling something like 20 feet above your head right now.
So let me see if I still have that. I do. I still have my short bow.
Mm-hmm.
So just curious to see if this would actually do anything. I'm going to shoot an arrow, kind of just, it doesn't have to be like necessarily any specific. I'm not aiming for something is what I'm saying. I want to see
Sure.
what happens when I shoot it.
Which way are you shooting it?
Probably off the side,
Okay.
just to see what happens.
So what happens is that the arrow sails off just like you would expect, but when it hits the point where you've kind of noticed this strange sort of corner distortion, you see simultaneously the arrow continue off into the distance just exactly as it should, but also it hit something and then clanked down to the ground, and you can now see it lying stationary on what looks like a floor, except that it also looks like it is the ground rushing by at speed. But it is not left behind. It's just sitting there.
Oh, this is so weird.
Yeah, certainly is. What do you think if I just like jump down?
Let's maybe run that by the others first so they don't just like, oh, think
Think
Xehanorn's
I'm
throwing
trying to
himself
kill
off the train?
myself? Yeah.
So the Dragonborn passenger is just right there by the door as well, and I think watched this happen over, through the window, and it's like, what is happening right now? Do you understand? I mean, what is going on? Are we safe?
That's what we're trying to figure out. Like, we're in some kind of box, but it's got like almost like a moving illusion, but it's not an illusion. I don't know how this is happening.
Yeah, this is I mean, it looks like we're in a box, like we got pulled off the track,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some illusion making us thinking that we're still going,
Yeah.
but
So
we're not.
what you can, like, everyone can see the arrow sitting there now, and it really kind of almost hurts your eyes to look at, because you're seeing things that feel mutually contradictory, because
Hmm.
the ground looks real, like it's racing along, but the arrow is also just sitting there. And you, I think, are coming to the conclusion, Lynn, with your true seeing ability, that it's not an illusion so much as just somehow that's what the ground looks like. The floor had, just in the same way that a chameleon changing the color of its skin is not an illusion, somehow that's just what the ground here looks like. And it does not seem to be an illusion magical effect.
So, what do you guys think? I was thinking I would just jump down off the train and see what happens. I mean, the arrow is
Um,
just sitting there.
I'm going to, before you do that, I'm going to cast Enhance Ability on you
Okay.
with Cat's Grace. Apparently, you get 2 temporary hit points.
Oh.
Woohoo.
So with
That'll
Cat's
help.
Grace, you have advantage on dexterity checks, and you don't take any damage from falling 20 feet or less.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go between the doors and jump down onto the ground, and I'm going to jump far enough to the side that
Mm-hmm.
if this thing is actually moving, I'm not going to get run over by the train.
Sure. So make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Okay. $26.
Holy
So
crap.
yeah, so this is not a against a magical effect here exactly. It is literally just this vision of what the ground looks like is just so persuasive to your senses that it is very difficult to ignore that it doesn't behave like it looks like it should. And so landing on it, every instinct is telling you to expect you're going to have to like tuck and roll, and it's just going to,
Mm-hmm.
but it just doesn't. Everyone who watches as you jump out onto what feels like a flat, hard surface, and you land there and just stand there as the grace appears to be rushing by under your feet. And you realize, too, that the sound of the train that you were hearing while standing outside the car doesn't sound any different, even though that you're like 15, 20 feet away. It sounds like that is just a consistent sound that's throughout this whole room. It's not coming from the train.
I'm going to run in place.
It's like, look how
And-
fast I am, everybody.
I'm gonna follow him, and I'm
Okay.
gonna go pick up my arrow.
Okay. So you also make a wisdom saving throw. You can make it with advantage because you kind of had spotted this illusion
Well,
a little more.
I can also be there to
Yeah.
catch her,
Yeah.
catch
Ooh.
them.
And again, like this is just
Terrible.
literally struggle.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. So I think this is just your stomach kind of lurches and you stumble a little bit as you land, which
Yeah, in
is,
real life, I would be totally be barfing.
yeah, because it's again, it's your senses really fighting each other over what it is that's happening. But at the same time, you can now find that you're standing on just a very smooth, almost like a marble surface or stone, but very smooth and flat. And that's that's what you can kind of feel underneath your feet when you stand there.
What does it look like when we're looking out the window at them?
It
Like, do we
looks
see them?
it looks as though if you were on a real train that was really speeding along and somehow someone was able to hover millimeters off the ground and just exactly matching pace with the train. Like you see
like
the
a
landscape.
shadow almost.
Yeah, almost like so you see the landscape going by and yet somehow they're just like superimposed over it somehow.
Like a reflection in the glass in the windows.
Yeah.
Only less transparent.
Hmm.
So we can't trust our senses, but I can trust something else. And Vertigo. Wow, little slip there. Vertigo will summon from the bag an item he's not really had a chance to try out, and puts on a somewhat more fashionable than he would ever wear blue glove,
Hmm.
and goes to kind of climb down. He's not going to leap. He's not
Okay.
quite ready for leaping yet, but kind of climb down, put
Mhm.
his eyes closed, and then step down and touch the ground to see if he can feel what its essence is, if it's a thing. I don't even know
so
how this
you're
works.
reaching
So
down to touch it with your gloved hand?
yes,
Yeah.
with
Um,
the glove he received from the Fae.
Yeah, yeah. So the way that works, you haven't really used it, but
No, not at all.
The basic idea is that you can like learn the history of things, right? And so it's a little bit like the what's the word, psychometry, I think, is like
Right.
this idea that like you can read the like memories of objects and that sort of thing is the idea. But in any case, what you feel from the floor here is that it gives you a really strange feeling of being simultaneously very old but also brand new, as though in much the same way that an ancient oak tree comes to life again every spring, that sort of thing, right? Like it had been dormant but now is blooming once more in the spring. Like it feels like that. Like this place, whatever it is very old, but what it's doing now is new. Recent, at least, I should say, as opposed to new is a little bit, the nuance is different, but meaningful there.
I don't. This is something that's been here for a long time, but I think it's trying new tricks. Can I shift the focus of detect thoughts into the ground to see if there's an intelligence nearby? It's only 30 feet, so
Sure, yeah. You don't
Okay.
pick up anything, but certainly as you're kneeling on the train, right, and you're reaching down to feel, like you can definitely it's not moving against your hand at all. Like it just feels entirely stationary.
Well, at least we're not going to crash anytime soon.
Weirdly, even actually when you're doing it both like that, is you realize that you're feeling sort of subtle vibration on the train, which is expected from like a running train, but you don't feel that on the floor. So it's just that kind of recognition of whatever that vibration is on the train seems to be entirely simulated because it's not in relation to the floor at all.
I'm going to walk a little further away from the train
Mm-hmm.
to the side, like 30 feet,
Mm-hmm.
and see if like there's a wall or something out here.
Yeah, well, I think you can follow Lynn where she went over to get her arrow, and
Okay.
and yeah, you can feel a wall, and as you're getting closer to where the corner is, the verisimilitude of the imagery is distorted some. It does seem like it's designed to look perfect from the train, which means it does not necessarily look perfect from an entirely different angle, like when you walk right up to the wall. So everything looks kind of weirdly distorted.
All right, I'm gonna play mine. I'm gonna feel around, see if there's a door, and start working my way toward the back of the train.
Mm-hmm. You're not finding anything right away, but I'll let you continue to do that for a while if you want.
All right, I'm gonna keep doing that.
Okay.
After picking up my arrow, I will just follow him.
Okay. Yeah.
Stay close.
The wall seems, as far as you've been able to tell so far, feels like the same hard, smooth surface that the floor seems to be.
Okay.
I think that Vertigo will cast Detect Nightmare, shift perceptions again.
Okay. As you do that, you get a general sense that sort of the background radiation, so to speak, is a bit higher here, but also you ping more closely than that. Do you remind me, because it works? Remind me the wording of it.
You know if there's a nightmare creature or nightmare infected creature within 30 feet of you, as well as where the creature is located. If you know if there's a place or object within 30 feet has been magically infected or corrupted by nightmare energy.
Yes. So you get a sense just generally that there's sort of more of it, broadly speaking, here, but also the halfling pings to you as a nightmare creature. The halfling passenger, which is this one right here. So she, as you kind of look around, just seems to be looking on at you like she's a confused passenger. She doesn't know what's going on. She looks over at you, but your spell tells you she is a nightmare creature.
They're still within 60 feet, so in Zinhorn and Lynn's mind, as well as Zaleen, who's I think right here, you would hear from Vertigo, it's the halfling. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead and finish the sentence, but...
Sorry, it was a halfling, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the halfling. They're caught in nightmare somehow. I think it's related.
So tell me, you know what? I think maybe just a deception roll is in order if you are trying to hide your reaction from them.
I mean, he's terrible at it, so the likelihood is he's not able to.
But, I know. I guess what I'm just saying, though, is that she was watching you. She watched you cast a spell, and then what I can imagine is that you look over at her in surprise and suspicion.
Yep. Yep, and that's a 12. So
okay. Well, here, let's see.
Smoky eyes, kind of focused in her direction.
Okay. So there's a moment where there's just an instant where go ahead and make an insight check. I know Vertigo's not good at that either, but let's
worse.
Give it a shot.
So 17. Wow.
Yeah. So there is a split second of shared eye contact there. And then the halfling's expression gives you just an instant of a little half smile of like, huh. And then she suddenly scrambles back and puts herself kind of in between the elf and the human and just says, why is he looking at me like that? Why is he looking at me like that? There's something wrong with him.
I think you're causing this. Or related somehow. Who are you?
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't cause any of this. This is just I'm just as confused as the rest of us here. You're the ones that all seem have to have like complicated magic and doing parlor tricks outside the window.
I'm gonna light the pipe. And...
Well, you're outside,
Oh,
right?
I'm gonna
Okay.
stand up
Mm-hmm.
yep.
and kind of like walk over to stand like to the side of Nedry just in case, or
Right.
Vertigo.
So let's actually place ourselves on the map just in case anything happens here. So we had Zinhorn.
Think I can move mine.
Stupid roll 20. I have to makes me reset this every single time.
Ah, there you go.
I'm not using it properly is the answer. I mean, there's a way for this to work where it would be automatic if I would just use it properly, but what are you going to do?
So I think he was still.
That would be why you were not moving your tokens. Makes sense to me now.
He was still by one of the doors. I think it was probably this door, but I think that distance might.
Okay. You should all be able to move your tokens now. Please let me know if that's not the case. All right. So, let me shift where on the screen here. There we go. Just to show Zinhorn and Carolina over by the wall.
Because he would move so he can still see her.
Yeah.
Or still detect the nightmare. So.
Mm-hmm. She is, backing up further, kind of trying to put other people between her and yourself. So, Zinhorn and Carolina, you would have heard Vertigo's psychic message, presumably.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna head back that way.
Yep, I'm gonna move toward the front of the car, or
Okay.
the top of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you?
And I've got the pipe out.
Yeah. She says, I'm Luella Brownlock. Who are you?
It's complicated, but I don't think you're fully telling us everything. Did you encounter something recently? Something very strange?
Yeah, very strange train ride, and now it's very strange gnome accusing me of I don't even know what.
Where were you before you were on the train?
I was at home. I'm going to visit family in Emersham, and the hesitation there is mine. Looking at my notes, she says it very matter of factly.
Please just tell the truth. I don't want to have to look harder.
She looks up at the human man there and just says, "I don't know what he wants from me. You're not going to let him hurt me, are you?" And I think I want competing persuasion rolls from you and from her, unless someone else is intervening.
Sounds like not. So, 13
I
from...
would, but
Okay.
I had to move the pig, so I didn't get to hear
Oh,
what
no.
happened.
Okay, so basically, she's enlisted the man here, basically like trying to make it look like Vertigo is the weird one, and he's accusing her of whatever, and you're not going to let him hurt me, right? And so the man looks down at that, and he just says, "Well, okay, look, son, we're all having a very strange situation right now. I don't think it makes sense to start spreading accusations until we really understand what's happening." And he kind of stands up to kind of put himself between you.
We have a lot of experience with these things. In fact, it's what we do. And I pull out one of the cards that Carolina makes me carry around,
Okay.
and I show it to them like this, but I don't get any closer.
Okay. So Zinhorn, with you coming in, like you did you leave the back door open? Or I guess if you're
No,
no
we
longer
couldn't.
holding
Well-
it open, So that's what I was saying, is that they can't both be open at once. And
Right.
so what I was going to say is, if the back one was still open, you would not be able to open the front one. However, if it's no longer being held open, it would close on its own. And so I think you would be able to
Okay.
open the front one. So you kind of just climb aboard and you come in behind her. What's kind of your demeanor as you do that?
I'm relaxed and smoking my pipe.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I think when she kind of realizes that you've come in and kind of come around behind her, she suddenly like hops up and puts her arms around the man's neck, and suddenly she's holding her fingers like claws on his neck and says, "All right, everybody, let's just calm down now, shall we? You wouldn't want this poor nice man to get hurt. He seems like the sort that would stand up for a little fella." And the guy's just going, "What the hell is happening?"
You don't have to hurt anyone.
"Don't die." "All right, you with the wings, back off. You don't want
Idris.
this poor man to start, dealing with excessive blood loss now, do we?"
Nedry's
I
going
just
to
kind
cast
of-
a spell.
Okay.
I'm going to put my hands up like I'm giving up and breathe smoke in her face.
Okay. I believe there's a saving throw or something, isn't there? Let me look up the
Yeah.
I let me pull up. I don't have that magic item up right now. Let's
DC 16 wisdom saving throw.
Okay, and this is the Pipe of Remembered Nightmares. Okay. Oh, well, no, so the
Oh, sorry.
that
That's
is
the thing.
if they're trying to attune to it, right? That's a
Right.
different thing. Oh, wait, no, it's also there. If let's see, if the target is not infected by nightmares, they must make this wisdom saving throw. Yeah, let's see. Gosh. Okay. So what happens is not they don't have the reaction you would expect, but they do start like coughing violently, and they drop off the guy and try and start to like scamper away to get out of the smoke, looking like angry and alarmed. It's like,
Okay.
what the bloody hell is that stuff?
I'm gonna put the pipe away and
Incidentally, that smoke, you would like a normal person would not have that reaction to it. Like you might not enjoy it, but they reacted like it was toxic.
She's let him go.
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. Nedry's going to cast a spell then,
Okay.
and twin the spell,
All right.
casting Vortex Warp to move the two innocents to behind them to
Oh,
the other end of the room. Well, actually,
Nice.
no, to beside where Zaline is, because we
Okay.
know the door's loop. So,
oh, okay. So like what? Right here?
probably right behind where
Oh,
Zaline
okay.
is.
Yeah, there you go.
They do get a chance to resist if they want to.
You know what? I think that they're too startled and inexperienced with this sort of thing to put up much of a fight. So they and they're also increasingly wanting to be away from the halfling that has just started acting very strange.
Sorry, it's a little disorienting. I've had to hurry.
So after that happens, the halfling looks around at all you and just says, "Well, you've got all sorts of nice tricks. Well, I guess we're doing this then." And they turn into a green slod.
Oh, those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so they transform from their halfling shape, suddenly ballooning in size. And we're going to roll initiative. And part of the reason that I was being so pedantic on the true seeing earlier is that technically it was not an illusion disguise, but you can also see the true form of shape changers, which is what it was. So I wanted to kind of like, if you weren't looking at the passengers with it, that's what I was
Yep,
doing
I was
there.
not. That's my bad.
Well, you know.
You got me.
Okay, so let's add a turn for them. Get the turn order here. And they've got 14. And, oops, I typed 14 in Vertigo's spot instead of the right one, so. Oh, no, I guess you
No, I
also
rolled a 14.
got a 14. So
Yeah.
what's your dex?
A 14 dex, so +2. or
Okay.
0.2.
They have a 15, so it's still a +2, but it would be, just enough
Yep.
of a lead on you.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'll just call that 0.3. Okay, we want me to add a turn for, let's see.
Kind of assuming that we didn't feel like Buster was going to be good on the train, I think, and
Well,
put him in the tower.
Yeah, so he would have been in the tower to start with.
Yeah.
But, certainly that doesn't rule out that you might go in to get him, but also, we'll see. Okay, so we just need Zalene's initiative on there. All right. Okay. So, Zinhorn, you are up first.
How did that happen?
Oh, a good roll on your initiative, I suppose.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna start this party hard. All right. I am going to cast Guiding Bolt at 5th level.
Okay.
And I got a 26.
That will hit.
33 points of damage.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah. You they are rocked by your powerful magic bolt covered with glittery sparkles that outline them very handily, but also they kind of go down on one knee for a second, just looking over at you and say, "Well done, you. That one stung."
Spiritual weapon to follow it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to put it right there.
All right. Let me
Right there.
bloop. And
One more down.
All right.
Oh, you're going to give me.
I give you control. Now you can move it.
There we go.
All right.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, you know what? I just realized. You can't pull it. You can't do 2 spells.
Oh, I can't do
Yeah,
that.
so
No, that's
not
2
this time,
spells. You're
yeah.
right. Sorry.
That's right. I just remembered, but get it out next
Aw.
turn. Okay. So anything else for your turn?
You. That'll be me.
I think that it is their turn now, and I think they look for a moment at all of you and just say, "I don't like my chances here, so I'm just gonna take as many with you as I can, including those poor bystanders." And they shoot out a magical bolt of energy, which explodes into a fireball right in the middle of the back half of this train car.
Would that be a spell?
Yeah.
Counter spell.
Oh, so it fizzles in their hand, and they just say, "You're just not letting me have any fun at all."
I don't like your kind of fun.
Well, I mean, if you did, it wouldn't be fun for me, so I suppose fair's fair. But in any case, that is their turn. So because you canceled it, so so now Nidri, it is now your turn, or Vertigo, I should say.
Where's that? Okay. It's gonna be a bit of a pain, but I think you should just slow down a moment. And he'll draw a clock face, and then draw an arm, grab the arm, and start pushing it back. And I'll cast slow. I'm going to heighten the spell.
Okay. That makes
so
they would have disadvantage on the saving throw. Is that...
It's not disadvantage. It is. Oh no, it is disadvantage on the saving throw. That's right.
So normally they would have advantage, but because of that, they won't have advantage. They'll do a straight roll.
Okay.
So that's going to be wisdom save.
That believe so. Yes.
They're actually not great at that. That's going to be 6. They failed. They're slowed.
Fail.
Slow.
So, -2 AC and Dex saving throws. Can't use reactions on its turn. Can either use action or bonus action, but not both.
All right.
Can't make more than one attack, regardless of whether it should normally.
Right.
And casting a spell means it might happen in next turn. They do make a wisdom saving throw at the end of each of their turns, though.
Right. Okay. Great. They are slowed. You see them weighed down as though by like magical cobwebs that they're struggling against with every move. All right, Carolina, you're up. Although you're still outside the train, so.
Yeah, but some of the stuff that I can do doesn't necessarily need me inside it. Okay. So I'm not sure if I want to use that. I have Hold Monster.
I think you do have to be able to see them for that.
Well, I can see through the windows, right?
I guess so.
Kind of big.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's like, you know, it's usually you would want, they have partial cover and all, but like, it's fine. I would allow that.
And they're all sparkly.
Well, because one of the things
It's
that
true.
I have is the Psychic Lance. Rowlotham's Psychic Lance. So it's just a creature that I can see within 120 feet.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'm gonna try that because I've not ever used this one before.
Yeah, it's a good spell actually. So, that's an intelligence save, I think.
Yep, Intelligence 17.
They're not great with that either. That's a 8. So, yeah, they fail. 19.
That was not supposed to be the 5th level cast.
Oh, okay.
That was supposed to be the 4th level cast. I don't know why it casted at 5th level.
Do you want to
because it's
re-roll
not
the
one I
damage
clicked
then?
on. Yeah.
Okay. So it'd be 7d6 instead of 8d6. Which is just
And
as
it
well
was
because
higher.
it was lower die rolls before anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
okay.
23.
But yeah.
Okay, so it's 23 and they failed to save, so there's other effects too, right?
Yeah. On a failed save, the target takes 76 psychic damage and is incapacitated until the start of my next turn.
So did everyone see the It Chapter 2 movie? No, I only mention it because there's an image in there that I was thinking of, because I think when this spell hits them, they kind of, sort of go pale. Their eyes sort of just roll back up on their head and they just kind of go, and they're just like, completely out of it for the moment.
Nice.
Yeah. So Zaleen, you're up, and they are
I'm going to move a little bit.
entirely vulnerable to you now. Incapacitated.
Okay, good, 'cause I'm going to cast Blight
Whoa.
at level 5.
Okay. Is that an attack roll with that one or a saving throw?
An attack roll.
No,
You have
I
advantage.
think blight is not an attack roll. I was
Oh, no,
I
you're
was
right.
asking, but
It's-
it shows up. It's a Constitution save, which I mean it's a great spell, but it is actually one of the few spells that is not going to be. There's no difference between whether they're incapacitated or not. So they're going to make the
Right.
Constitution save in the same way that they would otherwise, and they have magic resistance. But let's see. Yeah, so that's a 22 on the save, but I believe they'll still take half of that 52 necrotic damage.
Did you say that they were like incapacitated? Does that have any effect on their save?
Not for
Because of the psychic
constitution,
lance?
not for Constitution saves. They would I
Okay.
think they would instantly fail like a Dex save, but not
Okay.
not Constitution.
So
But they'll
26.
still take 26. They don't have any. Right. Yeah. Okay. So no, not resistant to that. So yeah, they're definitely. They're not down, but you've hurt them pretty bad. They're bloodied for sure.
Nice.
You see that they're looking much more gaunt, and a lot of their flesh is kind of like sagging off of their weird frog skull. Okay, Zinhorn, you're up again.
All right. I am going to bring out my Freezing Drill Spear.
Okay. You have advantage because no one actually ended up doing an attack roll in that round.
All right. So I am going to move forward. And because I have to in order to do it, get into melee,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and you would be, and in fact, if you hit on an incapacitated target, it's an automatic crit in damage.
I only rolled a 13.
Unfortunately for you, their hide is pretty tough.
It is at two less AC as well.
Their AC is 16. So,
Okay.
So unfortunately, I think you manage unfortunately to just hit right on a spot where their rubbery hide is too tough to be penetrated.
All right. Spiritual weapon at 4th level.
Okay, which will actually still be at advantage because they're of the incapacitated, even though the guiding bolt sparkles are gone now.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it. I'll put the token on.
All right. Not natural 20.
Okay, well that will hit.
And 11 points of damage.
Okay, and I believe. Let me just double check that I'm right about the incapacitated, because it's the normal thing of like if you're down. I think. You know what? I guess I'm wrong. Just strictly speaking, incapacitated, and incapacitated creature can't take actions or reactions, and that's all it says.
Okay.
So paralyzed is the one that they automatically have advantage. I don't know. I kind of. I don't know. I'm thinking of something else, but I just looked it up, and that's what it says. So no automatic crit, but they do certainly take the 11 damage.
All right.
Okay. So it is their turn, but they are incapacitated until the start of your next turn, right, Carolina? Yeah. So basically, they do nothing because they're incapacitated. They're just standing there like a zombie or a mannequin or something, like a very floppy, gross mannequin. So that's their turn. They don't do anything.
They do get a chance to react to the slow.
Ah, yes, that's another Constitution save, or what was that? No, it's Wisdom, right?
Wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and make that roll. But no, that's only a 10. That's
Okay.
with advantage. So they are still slowed as well as incapacitated, and it's your turn again, Nedry. Or
Let's see.
Vertigo, excuse me.
Yeah, this is going too well. I'm suspicious of it. I'm not used to actually getting a chance to do something except redo what I just failed. You know what? No, that's a cone. I don't want to do that. I think Nedry won. No, that requires concentration. Dang it. Too many options. Oh, wow.
Got a fish in a barrel here for you.
Yeah, that's the kind of the problem. He's not used to actually. I mean, all these feel kind of redundant. Oh, does that require
the hazards of being a control class when the creature is already pretty controlled?
Yeah, I have like 6 more ways to try to control this creature, but I don't need them right now.
Go up and kick him in the shins.
I think that it's going to be the simplest answer, which is frostbite. So,
all right, yeah.
Just draw a square of ice around them. This is a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. They're a bit better at those than Wisdom and Intelligence. That is going to be... oh, there we go. That's a, dirty 20.
A dirty 20?
Yeah.
So all this is happening in an instant, and unlike the normal spells that he draws out, this one is as much just sort of raw power coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a sort of, as the frostbite starts to go and it shivers a little bit to shake it off, he kind of gestures as if batting, and it will react with silvery barbs.
Oh yeah.
So
makes him have to roll again, or
has to roll again and use the lower roll.
Okay. So I think normally they're rolling magical resistance, so they're rolling with advantage. So what I'm doing is I'm going to roll one more die, and then that's it. And if it's lower than that success.
Okay.
So that's how I interpret that. Yeah, that's going to fail this time then. So that's only a 6.
Okay. So the frostbite kicks in, and
right.
sort of a backhanded way of directing like the slap. It kind of gently caresses the image of Zinhorn. And Zinhorn, you now have a advantage on your next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw you make within 1 minute.
All right.
Now the frostbite is... there we go. Doggone it, just roll it. There. 12 cold damage.
Nice.
And they have disadvantage on the next weapon attack before the end of its next turn.
Okay. So you see their hide and their magical nature. You suspect it's not taking as much damage from the cold as a normal creature might, but it does certainly take some of it. Okay. They start to shake off the. Oh, yes.
Just as a bonus action,
Sure.
I think that Nedry's just going to regain some. I'm not used to doing this yet. Some sorcery points.
Okay.
We'll consume a spell for that.
Right.
Sorry.
And needless to say, perhaps the other 3 passengers are non-combatants here and are just looking on terrified. And so they begin to shake off the incapacitation as it is your turn again, Carolina.
Trying to decide if I want to do that again, or trying to remember what the other spell is that
they're looking pretty rough at this point. Like they're severely injured.
I'm going to use Dissonant Whispers.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's a wisdom saving throw.
All right. Ooh, well, so with the advantage from their magical resistance, that is a 19.
Yep, that'll do it.
Because that's what they get when they roll a natural 20.
Yeah, so it doesn't. Wait.
I think
successful save. The target takes half as much damage. Okay.
Yep.
What do we got?
11. Okay, so they take 5 damage. All right.
And then let's see, where am I? Now I wish I hadn't moved back there, and then I had gone to the back of the truck and been back to the car and been like, come on, get out. But I don't have enough movement to quite get there, so yeah.
Okay, so Zaleen, you're up.
I am going to walk right up to this swad and cast Vampiric Touch
Okay.
at level 4.
All right. I believe that one is an attack
Maybe,
roll.
probably
Yeah.
not.
Well, so a 13 unfortunately just misses because even when slowed, their 16 becomes a 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, they
that's
sort of
okay.
duck out of the way, struggling against these magic tendrils, sort of trying to restrict their movement. They kind of grimace at you.
That's okay.
All right, Zinhorn, you're up.
Alrighty. Oh, hold on. No what? Oh, Zaleen is now in range. Oh, well, no. All right. Well, so much for the breath weapon. I'm gonna cast Guiding Bolt at no, 7th level.
7th level. Okay.
Yeah.
It looks pretty hurt. I'm being a kind DM here and suggesting that might be overkill.
Yeah, I know.
You know what? Go for it.
It's almost bedtime.
Far be it.
But what if
from
we
me-
have to get? What if we have to fight somebody else later?
Well, I rolled a 12.
You have advantage.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
Not advantage, but yeah.
No, he has advantage because of the,
Oh
the
right, yeah,
spell that I used.
because of
Silvery
the
barbs.
silvery barbs. Yeah, you do have advantage for that reason. Ah, there you go.
22.
There you go. Silvery barbs for the win. 22 certainly does hit.
10d6
Hmm
of damage. 41 points.
Yeah, yeah, you kill them.
But we can now see them because they glow.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I think they not only glow over the whole surface and outline of them, but also the brand new hole through the center of their chest. And they splatter all over Zaleen.
Viscera.
And they look down and kind of with a little stunned smile, they sort of start to sag over into the seats next to them and kind of look up at you, Zaleen, because you're the one they're kind of still pointed at. And they just say, "So quick on the trigger. But I'm not the trap. I'm the spotter. Good luck with the hunter." And then they dissolve into the sort of silvery dust that you've seen previously.
I told you, there's more.
Yeah. So they disappear, and you are still on the train.
I'm gonna turn around and look at those other people on the train. Scrutinize them.
The man says, "I'm not one of those things." And then the elf and the dragonborn say, "Yeah, no, not either. We're I don't know what's happening either."
Insight check.
Yeah, go ahead. That's an 18 on the insight. They're having a very bad train ride. They seem sincerely terrified and confused.
Is there any reason that someone would want to trap you on a train?
So like the elf is like, not to my knowledge, although from the impressive way that you dispatched that creature, it sounds like it's more likely that you are the one that they're trying to interfere with.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, there's a chance it could be someone else. Do you have any really serious enemies?
Well,
Hey,
I was planning to go and terminate the contract with my rare herb supplier because of insufficient quality in the last few shipments, but I don't think they have these kinds of resources at their disposal.
You're probably
I
right.
have a thought, everyone, about
Mhm.
something that has been on my mind since we were going to leave Bashan. And I am feeling like maybe Carolina may be right not to trust Solomonia because her weird intervention over there and now this, like, what if she's somehow aligning with these nightmares?
I
Yeah, no,
think,
I would like to clarify that I didn't say that.
yeah,
No,
so
no, I'm saying
I think you say that, and then the man who had taken out a little medallion of Solomonia and was kind of praying to it hears you say that and slips it back inside his shirt.
I'll give him one for the Mistress of the Dark.
uh,
I mean,
yeah,
I
thanks.
don't really think that that's the case. This isn't really her speed.
How do you know? Why is
Stories?
she doing what she's doing in Fashan?
Well, she's got her reasons, but I don't think this is her. This is something else.
This smells like a Tanglefoot kind of thing.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's been a little while since we've run into that brat.
But since we're in a box, I think we need to get out of this box.
Yeah.
So I would like to go back outside again.
All right.
And I'm going to start casting shatter on the freaking walls here because I do not like boxes.
Okay. So where you do it like on a wall?
Yeah. Stand back a little bit from it, but
Sure. I think you the loud sound resounds out. You sort of feel the shockwave, and you see sort of cracks form in the surface that don't go away, and now the image on it is kind of disrupted by what looks like a crack holding in space, but it does not, like, the wall is not destroyed.
that's not the door. I'm not going to keep firing shatters.
I was just going to say, like, there is a lot of surface area that you could potentially cover.
Right.
How did we open the box that the book was in? Vertigo, do you remember?
From the bottom. We dug
Well,
that's
up
how
we
through the
got it.
bottom.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, that's how we got
out.
it, but how did we open it?
I'm struggling to remember.
I
14
don't-
years ago, or
I
whatever that
don't
was.
think the box was magically sealed.
Okay, I thought the box.
There was a
magically
trick
sealed
to
too.
getting out of the book once you read it, but the box
Right.
itself, I think, was, I mean, it was buried in a block of stone under a train station. They didn't have a further seal on it, I don't think.
And this place is old. This may be a new trick, but this thing has been here for a while. There is a way out if we really need it. Just keep that in mind.
So
For
here,
everyone, or do we just leave these people behind?
It will be
We're
worse for
not
them.
leaving these people behind.
We can leave this realm, but we wouldn't be able to get back home for another day.
Do we need to get back home today? I mean,
Well, it is not safe everywhere else. It's not really safe here either, but
no.
so Carolina, go ahead and make a perception check for me. Did you hear me, Starla? I think you were maybe distracted right when I asked about a perception check.
So, perception check. Okay, hold on.
Okay,
16.
That's a 16. So I think that from where you are, as you've been kind of looking around in frustration, you're the one that's standing on the ground outside the train. And I think that there's a moment there where you're maybe looking down at your feet and feeling frustrated with how the ground still seems to be like running past you. And you kind of like a look away from that to ease the disorientation. And you look underneath the train car, which certainly appears to be a lightning rail crackling with electricity that you would certainly not want to get under the train car under normal circumstances. But you also recognize that that's probably not any more real than the rest of it.
All right. I'm going to go investigate. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is still on the train car, so yeah.
Vertigo will come off. Vertigo will come off the
know.
train because it's more exciting outside.
It's like, ha, you fell for my trick. You take 1,000 lightning damage and you're burned to a crisp. No, I'm kidding.
Revivify!
Yeah. No, so, nope, no, she's dust now. It doesn't matter. No, I'm kidding. Of course. So, yeah, so I think as you get close, it is increasingly clear to you that this is like simulation in the same way that like the sound is and the vibration was and all that sort of thing. And you do see that sort of at the center of like underneath the car, there does seem to be an opening.
So I will see Nedry coming out, Vertigo, and kind of motion him over. It's like, I found something.
Yeah, he's probably still a little nervous about the lightning because it did not go well when he got closer last time.
So basically, there is an opening that looks like it is big enough to like climb down into. And in fact, you see a little bit of what might even be the top of stairs going down. But you would, in order to go that way, have to walk right through what looks like crackling lightning.
We can test it.
And
Lightning resistant?
Oh, even better. But let me try this.
and he reaches into his pack and pulls out another of my not used items before, funnily enough, and opens the stopper on the decanter of endless water.
Oh, okay.
And just starts spraying the area.
Yeah. It gets wet. It does not seem to interact with the lightning at all, but you see the water pooling on the ground.
Well, it looks not real. We kind of knew that, but it's good to confirm these things.
I am going to wave at our compatriots that are inside and motion them out.
I think the elf watches that happen and just says, "You do realize that if the lightning were real, it would have traveled up the water and shocked you anyway."
Maybe. I was fairly confident.
I guess that it was good that it didn't. It's not real.
I couldn't really see the hole. It was more to show the hole to me than anything else.
All right. So certainly you can see that some of the water that was sprayed out by the decanter does seem to be draining down into that hole that descends into apparent darkness.
All right.
I can see in the dark.
Hmm?
Well, I'm going to be mindful that not everybody can see in the dark, so I'm going to use dancing lights.
Okay.
And send them down the hole.
All right.
So is the hole obvious to people or not? Like, are the
I mean,
passengers,
when
for example, having problems?
when you crouch down and you're willing to approach closer to what looks like lightning than you probably would if you thought it was real, it's pretty easy to see.
I think to help them, Vertigo will cast a minor illusion of a hole over it to see if his illusion can kind of either overwrite or enhance the wholeness.
Well, no, I mean, I think the hole is visible. It just looks like you would have to walk through lightning to get to it. Is the thing?
Right, but
So-
is he able to cast an illusion of there not being lightning there?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
nothing there. It just looks like a hole.
I think the more that you have kind of interacted with these surfaces and everything, it really does just feel like somehow this, like all of this material, it like you don't know how it would be achieved without a traditional sort of magical effect, but perhaps it's just the magical effect is sort of generated elsewhere and only sort of shows up here. So that's maybe why the dispel didn't seem to have the effect, but certainly it's not, your illusion is able to, work as its own illusion. And so it does look as though the lightning is not there or being blocked. And so I think that does make them say, oh, look at that. Good.
I will give it a try. I'm going to edge slowly in and see if I feel any
Before you do
electricity.
that,
Yeah.
I just have a quick question. Did we discuss where we put the diamond? Is that in the Nedry's pouch? I feel like that's the safest place for it, but
Good question.
I mean, or in the tower, potentially.
I don't know. Last time you Zinhorn had it. That's all I know.
Well, last time we really talked about it, Zinhorn wore it as a hat. So hopefully that's not still true. It's this enormous...
no, that should definitely not be
That
true.
is not being true right now. No. Zinhorn
You've just been
had-
walking around with it under your arm this whole time.
Zinhorn
Just carrying
used to
it
have
around.
the diamond with Rupino.
But I stole it.
No,
Right. Well,
You
but
have
so
it
we're
now,
so
yeah.
there are multiple diamonds in play now. Like
Right.
there's
the
the regular
infinite
sort of
facets.
gemstone, but then there's the one that's like the crystal ball. That's the important one we're
That
talking
one.
about now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
right.
I mean, you
Yeah,
have
we need
had
to have
time. You
stashed
can
that.
decide where you would want to have put it.
I think it would be better in Nedry's backpack because it would be a little more easily accessible.
I mean, we could also leave it in one of the anti-magic jails there, if that makes any effect. We could
Ooh,
also try
that's a good
using it,
idea.
but I don't know how seductive it might be.
No, thank you.
All right.
I like
I like
the
it should
idea of
be
the
in-
anti-magic
in
jail.
Nedry's bag.
Put that crystal ball in jail.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
So as you, Zinhorn, kind of ease forward into this space, you don't feel anything at all from what would have seemed to be the lightning.
Okay.
But what you do sort of feel strange is that when you sort of lower your foot to like step down onto the first step of what is clearly a staircase now, it's almost like putting your foot into cold water. Like you don't feel any water, but the air in the stair space is just instantly colder in a way that you can feel even through like your armored boot.
All right. Well, the lightning's not real, but it's really cold in there. So bundle up and follow me.
It also seems to be entirely dark except for Carolina's dancing lights. There's no other light.
I will follow directly behind him because of the lights.
Watch your
And
step.
I'll try to space them kind of evenly for people.
All right, so it is a 10-foot wide, so you could go 2 by 2 if you wanted, but what's marching order? Bearing in mind that you've also got 3 non-combatants with you.
We should probably sandwich the non-combatants.
Mm-hmm. I can take point.
And I'll go next.
I'll
then
bring up
pass
the rear.
orders.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you make that little thumbs up reaction, Charla? A little thumbs up bubble just hovered up over your
Weird.
face, like a little animated one.
Huh. I didn't do that on purpose, but that's cool.
That's weird. Okay.
Is
don't-
that
Yeah. So in any case,
no? All right.
I don't know. But yeah, so let me go ahead and put you on the next map here, and then I have to I have to add our little non-combatants, and also make sure that you can. I think you should be able to move your tokens right now. And there we go. Let me know if you can't. You're on the bottom right of this new map. Hello? Yes? Yes? No?
I'm waiting for the
Yes.
map to load.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
It's all black except for the very
Oh,
bottom
there
right.
I am.
Yeah.
Yep, I can move
All right.
Oh, okay, there it is.
You moved yourself off of
off the map.
Yeah. All right. So I kind of put Zinhorn and Celine up front.
Yep.
There. And so as you're descending this staircase, on the image map here, you see the stairs are like stone, like individual stones. But the actual ones you see is just completely seamless and smooth. And except for the various right angles that consist of the stairs and where they meet up with the walls and everything, you would almost think that this entire tunnel was literally carved out of solid stone of whatever this kind is. But it's also very smooth. It's not like slick or slippery, but it's just very like machine smooth. And it is very cold. It feels like just instantly 40 degrees colder as soon as you go down the stairs in this tunnel. And as you can see on the map, the tunnel sort of extends in front of you another, 40 feet or so, and then seems to turn to the left.
All right.
The non-combatants are here. I'm gonna make everyone able to move those tokens just for the sake of the thing. But yeah, they are obviously scared, but don't have any better idea and would rather be with you guys than alone. So they're just following along and doing whatever you tell them right now.
Okay. What did that slod say before we killed it? Did it say, good luck with the hunter or the hunter?
Pretty much.
Hunter,
It's
I
with
think.
hunter.
Singular?
Just singular.
All right.
You don't think it's the hunter? I mean,
That doesn't really track with his MO.
it would be
No, I
dangerous
mean-
if they were connected.
He was pretty pleased with our play, so
Yeah, you let him perform as himself. Yeah, so in any case, this tunnel, descends these stairs. You go down about like maybe 25 feet down, and then it just continues on straight into the darkness. But, you have the dancing lights to illuminate it. It is, and it's a very dark gray stone, like almost black, but not quite.
I will
I'm
prod
gonna-
Zinhorn to we should go.
I'm going to go peek around the corner.
All right. You do, and I will reveal what you see, which is more tunnel that goes another 40 feet or so and then turns again.
All right. I'm going to suggest we all be as quiet as we possibly can. Zaylene, you coming?
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah.
as you make your next turn, you see the tunnel continues another little bit and then turns again, but to the right this time.
Turn to the left. Turn to the right.
You're stuck in the middle again.
With you.
There are worse places.
And then when you turn to the next corner, once again.
All right.
And
I
then,
think this was drilled out by a drunken snake.
and then as you curve, you have your first view of something that isn't just what you were seeing before. There's a tunnel that continues on for a little while until the room starts to kind of circle up, and you see a like a pit, like just a circular hole.
Hmm.
And then it's dark, but you can kind of see past it. It does seem to the tunnel continues further in that direction. Let me reveal a bit more of it.
All right. I'm gonna move up to the edge and spend a few seconds here looking around the hole.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to cast Detect Evil and Good.
Okay. What types of things does that detect?
It says aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet.
Mm-hmm. Good call. Because
Or a place or object within 30 feet that has been magically consecrated or desecrated.
Okay, well, so first of all, this place, it's not desecrated in like a religious sense, but it's given you all sorts of just aberration vibes. And you definitely detect that in the darkness of that pit, there is an aberration creature.
All right, so I'm going to yank on Zinhorn and pull him back. You're like, hold up. Come here. I'm getting aberration vibes from that pit there, so I think maybe it's a bad guy.
Gotcha.
Do we want to try to sneak around?
There is, there's a rim around there that you could get around without having to like literally be pressed against the wall, but it's not much more than that, and there is no railing.
I don't think maybe that's a good idea. But maybe drawing it out?
Yeah.
Because, like, it's there.
What kind of things might it be? What kind
It's a
of
big pit.
Let's see, aberration. What would count as an aberration that I could give him as just
The slots are aberrations. I think, actually. Let me just confirm that. I'm pretty sure they are. But basically, an aberration, yes, slots are aberrations. Aberrations as a category are basically things like a monstrosity is sort of like a sort of more violent version of something that might be, from your normal world, right? Like something could be made into a monster, but it would still have kind of its roots in the land that it's found in. Whereas an aberration is like from elsewhere. Like from the far realm. So like it's, like strange and alien compared to just
It
monsters.
could be anything from a mind flayer to a brain to a slod.
If anybody here, I don't know what kind of magic you guys are working with now, but I think there's spells that send stuff back.
I mean, I could
There was
try.
a very famous use of it in
Banish.
the stories of the heroes of legend, but I don't know if we all have that.
I
Anybody
mean,
will
I
have
can
it.
certainly try.
I do not have that prepared, I don't think.
I do.
Yeah.
Nice.
Vertigo does as well.
So I
We
think
have
maybe
chances.
have that at the ready just in case.
Sure. I'm thinking about banishment.
So, you have a a crazy high passive perception, don't you, Zinhorn?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
Passive perception is 23.
Yeah, so I think as you're talking about this and you kind of glance over to the pit, you can see just barely hidden in the darkness there is a a floating creature. It's not very big, but it's a sort of strange, hard to process shape, almost like a jellyfish or something. And it's maybe the size of like a cat, but this is a very strange place for a cat to be, especially floating in a dark pit. But it's definitely hiding in the shadows. It would be very difficult to spot if you weren't like crazy perceptive.
Would a
Okay.
passive perception of 20 find that?
No.
No. Wow.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
But does my detect good and evil? It's supposed
But
to.
your detect good and evil
Yeah.
does find it, and so like your Zinhorn combined with her spell, you are pretty sure, whatever that thing is, it must be the aberration that Carolina is detecting.
Okay.
So whatever it is, it's little. It's not a big creature.
Hold on one sec.
Is it a baby beholder?
Baby
Does
holder?
that counts as a monster, right?
Baby holder. What?
That counts as a monster, right?
Baby beholders?
I think beholders are also aberrations. If
Well,
that's
Yeah,
what
they
you-
are.
I meant this.
Oh
whatever it
yes,
is.
yes. If you
Okay.
have a spell that is like hold monster or something, yes, it would count for that reason. For
I
that.
have that exact thing, so
Alright.
that's what I'm
Oh.
asking.
I'm gonna try Toll the Dead.
Okay. That's a wisdom save, I believe.
Yeah, Wisdom 16.
All right, let me do that. It got a 19, but that will go ahead and start initiative.
Alrighty.
I'm scared.
Oh, don't be scared. It's just a monster in a dark pit in the middle of a strange tunnel in a extra dimensional trap of some kind. It's fine.
It's a flying space cat beholder baby.
That's a lot.
I know. That's why I'm scared.
Yeah. Let's see. I have to probably remove everyone's So you all don't see your old stuff on here because it's weird that way. So tell me if you still. Here, I'll just. We got. Tell me if you don't see yourself on the turn tracker.
I do
I
not.
do not.
Okay. All right. And there you go. Should all have be on the turn tracker now and be able to add your initiative. Oh man, that's the second encounter in a row that you tied for someone for initiative, Vertigo, and this time, oh yeah, once again they have a 15 dex. So
Hey, Paul, how are you? You're like rolling 2 at a time.
he has
Yeah.
advantage on initiative for some.
Oh, does he?
Something.
Yes,
he has,
I
yeah.
do.
Sentinel or something like that, or is a feat, I think.
Yeah.
Might
Which is
be-
why observant maybe. That's why he's got the high passive perception.
Yeah.
Ah,
Something like that.
okay.
Yeah.
But it was
So
the armor.
Zinhorn and Caroline,
Could be,
there's something he has that I remember noticing before, but yeah. So we need resolve dex off for Zinhorn and Carolina.
I have a
I'm at
+3.
+0.
Okie doke. All right, so y'all did pretty good on initiative that time. So even though it rolled okay, it's still gonna go almost last. So Carolina, you are up first, and it is still kind of hidden in the shadows, but because and it would have been hard to spot, but because of your spell, you know just where it is.
What did Zinhorn cast?
He
minute
tried
ago?
a cantrip to toll the dead, but it's just
Okay,
because
right.
because of that, it kind of knows it's been spotted and it's gonna.
Okay.
Activate,
Well
so to speak.
then,
So you can decide that you wouldn't have done anything yet. I'm just telling you that it's gonna start reacting now, and you have a chance to.
yeah,
Act
I'm
first.
gonna try hitting it with Hold Monster. And that's a
Okay.
Wisdom 17 save.
Okay. 16.
No.
It is
See,
held.
It's paralyzed for the duration. No effect on the undead. At the end of each of its turns, the target can make another wisdom saving throw.
You know what? I think the way this thing hovers is it's going to continue to hover. I briefly considered whether being paralyzed would suddenly just make it drop into the darkness. But no, I think this thing has kind of a passive hover, like a little balloon.
Yeah, I tend to think of it like I'm not paralyzing their mind, just their physical shape. So, like, if their mind can still work,
Well,
right?
but I'm saying that if you paralyzed a bird which was flying, it would fall out of the sky.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. But that is not how this thing flies, and that's why it's not going to drop. But I considered the question.
It would have been funny.
Yeah. All right. So yes, you have managed to cast your spell and you've held it. Is detect evil and good concentration? In which case,
Yeah, I
would
dropped
drop
that
now.
one.
But you know where it is now. So.
Yep.
All right. So Zinhorn, you're up. It's paralyzed now.
All right.
Oh, and I would have moved my dancing lights so that
Okay.
other people could see it.
Great.
I
Yeah,
am
so
going...
I'll say with the lights over it and it no longer hidden in the shadows, this thing looks like.
I can't actually do that because that is also concentration. So
Well, you were so the dancing lights would have
yeah, they
gone
would have gone
away.
away when I cast detect good and evil.
Okay, so that means anyone without dark vision is in pitch black right now.
I have my dagger of blind sight.
Aha. Well, but that's within what, 30 feet or less?
30, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm 20 feet away from it.
Yeah. So yeah, you're good.
All right. I am going to use my sling to fire a sling bullet.
Okay.
And then I will use my spiritual weapon.
All right.
I got an 18.
And 18 will hit.
That does 2 whole points.
Mm-hmm. Bonk.
And then I'm going to cast spiritual weapon.
Oh, you should roll the sling with advantage because it's paralyzed.
Oh, okay.
I mean, just in case you might get a. And it looks like it has divine strike damage. Is that?
Oh, it just rolls it automatically. I didn't do divine strike.
Okay. Well, no, I think divine strike is a feature you have at this level, right? It's not a smite spell. Let me confirm that. Oops. So. Yeah, divine strike. Where is that?
Yeah, you just do extra damage when you hit.
Oh, okay.
Each of your turn, when you hit a creature with weapon attack, you can cause the attack to deal extra 2d8 radiant damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'll take the divine smite damage.
Strike.
Well, yeah. So
Yes.
to clarify, yeah, it is divine strike. Smite is an extra thing. So in any case, yeah. So you did another 2 damage on it then, and
All right.
and then your spiritual weapon.
Spiritual weapon. I rolled a 14 the first time.
14 will hit.
Okay. I rolled a 27 the second time.
That will also hit.
All right. Come on.
Okay.
12 points of damage.
All right. Bonk. Double bonk.
Yes.
Okay. So I think when the dancing lights went out, there's a cry of alarm from your Dragonborn and human accompaniments. I could tell you their names, but you haven't asked in character. So this is Maxwell and Gansha. So just so you know now. But they are... and then the elf is Desiel, but she has dark vision. So she is kind of like holding them and like whispering, calming things to them. But that's the end of Zinhorn's turn. So Zaleen, you're up.
Okay, so I'm going to just slowly like weave through them
Mm-hmm.
and say, "Get thee behind me."
Excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me. Pardon me.
Yep. And then I'm going to come up beside Zinhorn, and behind me, I'm going to cast Guardian of Faith
Okay.
to protect them.
All right.
So it'll be like blocking that path right there. So Nedry will have to move like around it.
Isn't that a large thing?
Oh, you know what?
I think Guardian.
Yeah, it's a large spectral guardian.
I mean, there's kind
covers in an unoccupied space.
Well, there's not
of your
really room
choice.
for that though, as people are currently laid out. Because that would be
Like-
2 squares by 2 squares.
It said an unoccupied space.
You can put it behind everybody. But
Yeah,
there's
that would
not.
work.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there's no room in the space immediately behind you.
I don't. Yeah, it says it's large, but it just says an unoccupied space. So my brain is just assuming like
It
a regular
it has to be a
space.
space this big enough for a large creature. So like with
Yeah.
this box that I just drew.
yeah, that works.
All right.
And if they want to move behind it when they get a chance or whatever, they can
Okay.
because they're my allies. So
All right. Okay. So it is now the creature's turn. I'll go ahead and tell you now. It's called a mind killer, and as it hovers up out of the hole, those of you with dark vision can see it looks like a very strange, like imagine a jellyfish if the jellyfish's bell was actually like a mutated brain with all sorts of tentacles and a spine hanging down from it and claws and teeth.
Oh, that's a whole lot of nope.
Yeah.
So nothing like a jellyfish at all.
Well, in this,
Unless
like,
you have very terrible
like,
jellyfish.
if you only saw the silhouette of it,
Right.
you might mistake it for a jellyfish because it's got
Quick,
like the
take off my
tendrils and
glasses.
stuff hanging down. Yeah, it's a lot less scary that way. So it is going to float over to, actually between the two of you, I think probably it would look at Zaleen as a more appealing target. And
How is it? It's still held, right?
oh no, you're absolutely right. It is still held, so it doesn't do any of that. Never mind. So it is held, but it does at the end of its turn get a chance to break off the hold. So I'll try to do that now. But you're right that it was held and should not move. It didn't move. Natural 1, so still held.
Ooh.
wow.
All right, Vertigo,
Yeah, I was-
you're up.
I was really scared that it was moving.
Oh, I'm muted.
Oh.
It's muted. Let's see. Okay. This is awful. I think it's going to be. Yeah, just a beam of cold air out of the end of his finger for a ray of frost. That is a spell attack. So let's do that. It's a 13 to hit.
A 13 does hit this thing, especially with it.
Actually,
Yeah, you should
technically
roll
it
with
has
advantage. Yeah, because
Yeah.
but a 13 hits either way.
Yeah, the second roll is a 2, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, 14 cold damage, huh?
14 cold damage,
Yeah.
and its speed is reduced by 10 until the start of my next turn. So it goes
Okay,
break free.
yeah. So it takes that cold damage, and you can see like ice crystallizing all over it, but it's not totally down yet.
Okay, I think that's
I think
everything.
the non-combatants will probably like hurry back to be behind the guardian.
That actually sounds like a really good idea. So Vertigo's going to move back there because they also need to be protected. So
Yeah, good idea.
I think that's still within range.
Yeah.
So
Okay, Carolina, is your turn again.
All right. So, Yeah, I'm gonna move back a little bit. Not too far. I have dark vision to
Yeah.
120
Well,
feet, so-
I think if you move back too far, because it's down in the pit, you'll lose line of sight on it if you move back too far.
Yeah, I'm not moving back terribly. Well, okay, we'll go there.
Mm-hmm.
Does that still work? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't like the look of this thing. Let me see. Just double checking. Okay, so that's third level. Okay. I'm gonna cast lightning bolt.
Okay.
That's a dex save of 17.
It is paralyzed. It is going to, I think, automatically fail a dex save. Yeah. 24 lightning damage. This thing is a crispy critter, and it, I think, deflates and burns into a little crisp and tumbles into the darkness.
Oh. Well, that's not a good sign. That was way too easy, you guys.
Yeah,
How does your how long does your sense last?
Well, I dropped that because
Oh,
I have a
yeah.
hold monster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm.
So, I mean, I could put it back up, I guess. Because that seemed way too easy.
I think Maxwell says, more lights would be good also.
I'll cast dancing lights so you can do
Hey.
your stuff.
Thank you.
So, okay. So, question. I have this with the Vidunme of Nightmares, right? So, can I only cast each spell once? I'm trying to remember.
I believe that each of the, like, it'll have a number of spells that you can cast once per day, I think.
Yeah, it says one charge. I just didn't know if, like,
Oh, it has a certain number of charges, and then the different spells cost different amounts of charges. Here, I'll pull it up and.
yeah. Yeah, everything is one charge, but I wasn't sure if that meant I
No,
can only use
it
that one
actually-
spell once.
Once you use the deck to cast a spell, you can't cast that spell again from it until the next dawn. It's
That's what I
explicitly there.
was.
Yeah.
That's what I was curious
Mhm.
about. Okay, so that's out. I can't do that anymore. Sorry.
Okay.
It's okay.
But I am going to give. Let's see who wants it. I'm going to give Zaleen inspiration, bardic inspiration, and let's see. I know that it's like changed, so let's see. Looking for infectious inspiration. Okay. Okay, when a creature within 60 feet of you succeeds on an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw that adds your bardic inspiration die, you can use your reaction to give a bardic inspiration die to a different creature that can hear you within 60 feet. Without expending any of my...
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So now that the that one creature has been destroyed, things go quiet again, and now that you're kind of standing here and not moving again for a little while, you're reminded once again that it's very cold in here. It's below freezing, and several of you we're not really dressed for that.
I have prestidigitation that can warm us up. Just like boop, 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 boop. Won't last a long time, but you know.
Bill, we probably shouldn't stand around too long.
Yep.
If we're gonna find this hunter, I don't think that was it.
No, that was way too easy.
Well, it never got to attack, so I mean, it could have had a devastating attack, but
I think
I'm
the
with
Guardian
you.
of Faith would last for a while, but it's only going to be able to stay right there. So
Yeah, it lasts for like 8 hours. We're just gonna have to stay there and guard guard the
Alright.
whole way.
It's covering our exit.
yep.
That's right.
All right. I'm gonna cast a few light spells.
all right.
and step forward and take a look.
I have dancing
See.
lights up.
Okay.
You don't
Okay.
have to use.
It's a
If you don't want
cantrip.
to.
It doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your lights reveal to you that that hole is really, really deep. You cannot see the bottom.
Okay. I will take out my coin of delving.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did you lose one already?
yes, and I bought 2 more to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to drop my coin of delving down.
Okay.
And
So
listen for the. Yep.
it falls out of sight, and you're waiting for a long time. And then you hear the sound, but not from down in the hole. You hear it from the tunnel ahead of you, like on the other side of where the hole is.
Okay. So we're still in some creepy, weird space. All right, let's move forward.
Did dropping that down there, did that cause any other sound
Nope.
to like stir down there?
Nope.
Okay.
No drums in the dark.
You don't suppose this place is also a complete illusion?
I will squint at it just in case.
I mean, you don't see anything. I mean, it's a weird place, but you don't see anything that you didn't see before.
All right, I'm gonna stay along the edge.
Right. Now, let me be clear here. It is not difficult to make your way along there. It's something you might be worried about doing while fighting something.
Right.
And you want to be careful, but it's not hard, right? You're not having to literally press yourself against the wall. You have space. It's just not a lot.
All right. I'm gonna get to since I can fly without expending a spell. I'm gonna wait there and have everybody else move around. And
Zaylene, you're friends here for a while, right?
You need
Can
to
you
Sorry, I couldn't get too many tabs. Yeah, it'll stay for 8 hours.
Can it talk to you if we're not here? I'm just
I
thinking
don't-
that our friends here might be safer with it rather than not with us.
That's a good question, but I don't think it can talk. It just stands there and looks really.
Can it make noise?
Maybe we should
Perspective.
ask them.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
I think they look at it and look back to the rest of you, and it's like, I mean, I'm sure it's great, but I would rather stay with you all.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'll stay. I'll stay in the back still too,
Yeah.
with them in between us.
Sure. All right, so. Yeah, you don't have to literally move around. Nothing else is going to happen around the pit, so you can make your way around there and nothing else happens. All right. So as you peek around that corner, Zinhorn, you see the tunnel extend another bit, and then it turns to the right again. And then when you look around the tunnel there, well, I guess I shouldn't have revealed the whole bit, but you, let me, here. You see it curve again, but I think with your high passive perception, I'll go ahead and confirm what you might be as a player suspecting, which is wait a minute. We just did what should have been a circle, but that isn't what should have been there.
Right.
Also, we've lost an NPC token, the Dragonborn.
Oh, I think
don't know
there's
where it
probably
is.
just one of them is probably just on top of someone else, probably. we got someone's on top of that one probably.
I think it might be hidden in the darkness still, because like I can't find it.
Weird. That's. I'm tempted to just say, yeah, I don't know. Where are they? I don't know. They're gone. I don't know what
Turned
happened.
around and one of them was gone. And
Oh
this
no,
is not-
they ended up under the spiritual weapon.
Oh,
I don't know how that happened, but that is where they were.
that's why it was able to click on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's going to be gone by now.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, as you kind of make your way forward, you're just seeing lots of this is getting much more cramped.
Yep.
I was like on top of Nedry.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so I think what I'm going to say is, as you're making your way through this, it is increasingly obvious to you now that the turns you took should have taken you back to where you started, and yet this is obviously not what you saw there. And so I
Right.
think that is the place we will have that ominous realization be where we will end our session for tonight. Is that the tunnels are not merely creepy and cold and dark and potentially monster inhabited, but also they are changing.
dun.
So that is where we will leave off for tonight. Thank you everybody for listening and or watching, and we will return next week for more adventure on so many levels.
So
many
many
tunnels.
levels.